I'm your host, Madrina, and welcome to Rolling with Madrina. I'm a community service organizer, motivational speaker, and an advocate for the people. I am living proof that your struggle can be your story and your trauma can be your triumph. I've dedicated my life to giving back, and I want you to roll with me while I speak with those in our community who are doing what they do best. Now watch and listen for what you can do to join their cause. Aloha, my name is Madrina and I love hosting Rolling with Madrina here at Blab TV in downtown Pensacola, where I get to share with you information from game changers, light bringers, and innovators here in our community. And today I'm so excited because I have a whole brand new topic, a brand new guest, and a fellow leadership Pensacola buddy. I'm talking about John Hodgdon, right here from Heartbeat Safety. Welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Did you like that magic there?
I loved it. That was fantastic.
There you are.
Yeah.
So I met him through Leadership Pensacola. He is a local, born and raised here. He's got local roots and some good history, but he's got a new program, a new initiative. And by new, I mean coming up on 3 years. So not that new, but I don't know if you've heard about it. So he's here today at Rolling with Madrina to tell you all about what he's doing with Heartbeat Safety, how you can utilize his program, or ways that you can get involved. So welcome again to Rolling with Madrina.
Thank you, thank you.
And I just wanted to give him kudos because he and his wife are just the little dream team, and I don't mean little derogatory, but the dream team that put this together. She's here in studio off camera, and just maybe we'll get lucky to put her on camera in the second half, but she is just the wind beneath his wings. She sent in all the emails and the graphics, and she just is a delightful lady. So I just wanted to mention his wife, who's here watching us. Welcome, sis.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, John, I mean, a lot of people know you. You've been around, you're a local, you've started businesses, you've really done many different things in different ways to enrich our community, whether it's creating a local business that employs people, just so many things. So first, before we get into this, tell everyone who you are, what your history is, who's your mama them, just give us the 411 of who you are.
Yeah. So I got to correct you just a little bit.
Oh.
Wasn't born and raised in Pensacola,
Okay.
but my family did move here when I was 13.
Okay.
Parents were both in the U.S. Navy, cryptologists.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so they could tell me what they did for a living, but they'd have to kill me.
Oh.
So I don't know.
So mama and daddy never told you how work went. Okay.
Yeah, right. But I've been here since 13, so I consider myself a local.
That's right.
You may know me from, I've been on the board of local nonprofits.
Name drop a few.
Junior Achievement, spent a lot of time with Junior Achievement. Last year, Heartbeat Safety actually had an initiative with Ronald McDonald House. We were kind of their resident safety folks, and we actually held classes on a monthly basis there to contribute to their mission and also provide some funding in that regard. Opened Alga Beer Company in 2021.
You're no longer the owner of that?
No longer. I was part of the founding team there, but sold out last 2022 in April, actually.
And a lot of you will know that location from the very famous Pensacola postcard. Was that your idea? Did you paint that on the side of the building?
I didn't paint it there. I've got to give credit to Brouhaha, who did paint it there.
Oh.
But as soon as they kind of made some kind of cryptic messaging about leaving that space, I was very quick to sign a 10-year lease as soon as I could. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that very famous mural there, and also, is that where I go to get my Brussels sprouts from Brown Bagger?
It is.
Okay. Yeah. So just
is.
giving you relevance as to where that is. So great.
Still.
So are you still a vested interest in that business, or?
No, sold my stake in 2022. January of that year, I actually stopped drinking, and by April, had decided, you know what, this is no longer for me. Moved on. Was kind of working on my personal fitness and kind of in that journey and health and all of those things. So started swimming at the University of West Florida pool. Again, it had been too long.
Are you alumni there?
I am alumni of University of West Florida. Started swimming laps and was brought in actually. I am a lifeguarding instructor, and I've held that certificate for like 20 years. I knew the aquatics director, and she said, hey John, post-COVID, we're having so many issues with staff. Maybe they're not as professional as they could be. We're seeing things about cell phones on the lifeguard stand. Can you jump in? Help us out a little bit. Jump in.
I see what you did there.
Help us out a little bit and help bring that professionalism up. And so I did. I volunteered my time. And certainly enough, after about 3 or 4 months, the staff was, they were doing their job. They were looking great. And it was at that moment that I looked at Kate and said, you know what? I still have a passion for this. I was a lifetime lifeguard at Pensacola Beach, lifeguarded for the National Park Service.
My gosh, John, what hat have you not won? Were you a former mayor?
I was not.
Maybe a future one, who knows?
Maybe one day, we'll see. If the wife lets me, we'll see. And the people, if they want
If they vote you.
Yeah, so started helping out. Nancy Keene is the aquatics director for the University of West Florida, helping out a ton there. And then we started the company. And our mission and our goal is very, very simple, Madrina.
So the mission there at the pool and what you were doing there in lifeguarding, what parlayed into this business here today?
It's what really brought us, the business. It kind of came to us, really, to be honest with you.
How did the swimming, teaching, aquatics leap to this?
Well, so I've trained at this point in my career and in my life, I've trained hundreds of lifeguards to perform CPR, to utilize an AED, which is what we've got up here, to provide first aid. And so after doing that, it kind of ignited that back with me. And so we're working with nonprofit organizations, we're working with governmental bodies and entities, and we're working for corporations to come in and make their organization a safer place.
So you went home and you said, Kate, I'm really enjoying this swimming and lifeguard teaching and all this and that. I think I'm going to start a business.
Well, I said, should we? So
Should
we both own the business together.
Good.
Should we start this business?
What a wise husband. What a wise man.
Yeah. And she said, let's go for it. So we jumped online. We bought some mannequins. We bought our AED trainers. And then we just jumped out in the community and started providing training courses. Yeah.
Okay. So this is your full-time now? This is what you're doing?
This is what I'm doing full-time, yeah.
Okay. Tell me, what is the end goal with this? I know I brought you here. You mentioned a lot of nonprofit affiliation. You have a for-profit element, obviously, because there's costs associated with coming to your company, your school, your corporation to train employees. But, when you approached me about coming on the show, and I said, well, do you have a charitable part? And he said, of course. I'm civic-minded. I'm community-minded. I am, charitable to my community. But you had some bigger goals and some bigger missions with this.
Yeah. So to answer that question, we've got kind of a two-prong approach right now. In that nonprofit space, and as you were talking, I'm very passionate about our community, and our mission's really simple here at Heartbeat Safety, and it's to make our community a safer place to live, work, and play. It's really, really simple.
One heartbeat at a time.
One heartbeat.
That's my tagline. I just added in there.
Because things can change in a heartbeat.
Honey.
Realistically.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So back to our two-prong approach.
Yeah.
So we've got two ways that we work with nonprofits. The first way right now is that if you've got the space and if you've got the audience and you want to host a class at your facility for your organization, what we'll do is we'll bring the mannequins, we'll bring the AED trainers, we'll bring the instructors, we'll bring everything to you. We'll host that class and we'll donate 50% of those proceeds directly to that organization. So that's one way. If you've got a nonprofit organization, you're interested in maybe fundraising, but also increasing the safety level of your organization and really getting some folks some great training. That's one great way that we've worked with, and we worked all last year with Ronald McDonald House. That was our resident place that we did this, and they saw great things from getting an AED in their location to having their staff trained, and then bringing in other folks that got awareness of their organization, so they know the mission of Ronald McDonald House now, and they've also gotten trained, and part of their training money has been donated back to that organization.
Right, it's a trickle down.
It really is, and it's a win-win-win.
Yeah,
the way that we look at it.
Yeah. Did you give me the second prong?
I haven't.
Okay, let's go.
So as of this moment right now, we're currently putting together a nonprofit organization, the Heartbeat Foundation. And don't hold me to that name. It is subject to change. But we're currently looking and building our board of directors. And we're looking at 2025 as being the year to bring this out to the community. And our goal is to highlight and find those organizations that need this kind of training and provide that absolutely free of charge. So if we can work on getting our community to pitch in, what we can see is the Gulf Coast Kids Houses of Pensacola, the Pace Center for Girls of Pensacola, and all of those other organizations really get the training and the tools they need in order to save a life.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't pick up that he has a heart for his community and all that he does, I mean, you're obviously not paying attention. But the reason I wanted him to speak about the charitable part of it is, one, that's the premise of Rolling with Madrina, but two, I have a heart for the community as well. And that was immediately what he said. This is my goal, what he just stated. And so just to recap what he said, and before we take a break, is he can come to you. He would love to be able to spread this message and this awareness. And we're going to get into all of the technical here at the next half of the show. But just to spread the word and to get people trained. The information that he's sharing and the knowledge that he trains on could literally save your friend, your loved one, your neighbor's life. And so I want to, when we come back, talk about who needs to know this and some basics. We probably take it for granted. I bet if I'm sitting somewhere in a restaurant and someone needs this service, I might sit there and think, I don't even know what to do. And look, is there a doctor in that? I wouldn't know what to do. And it's a shame. There's just some basic life skills that you could teach us that we could just keep in our repertoire of skills, like driving a car, a stick shift car. It's kind of one of those things you learn, you never lose it. And so I think it's a great thing that he's doing. And as far as the foundation that he just mentioned, his whole purpose to do that is to design an organization who garnishes some sponsorships. I know there's corporate people and those who love this message that would love to be a part of that, of the grassroots foundation development, to raise money so that he can take this show on the road for free of charge, or definitely a reduced rate. So I love what you're doing. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get more into the nitty-gritty of how all this works and what that big green thing is. We'll be right back.
Do you want to create but don't know where to start? Our new fabric line will inspire you. If you can dream it, we can help you make it. From using kits that include everything you would need, to taking classes to create something more personalized, Daryl's is the place for you. No matter if you're just beginning or experienced, Daryl's has you covered. Find us at 6705 North Davis Highway, open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Hi, I'm Madrina. Be a mover and shaker in our community by helping others overcome problems ranging from health to substance abuse, from personal safety to neighborhood issues, from taking care of your kids to taking care of your parents. Come on our show and tell people how you did it. Be a community hero and watch Rolling with Madrina, Thursday nights at 8:30, only on Blab TV.
The Reesburg Institute, Pensacola's ear, nose, throat, and voice center. We welcome you to visit us at our convenient Davis Highway location in Pensacola. At the Reesburg Institute, we offer the most advanced treatment available in a calm, stress-free environment. Since 2014, we've performed over 1,000 cases in office of balloon sinus surgery, as well as septoplasty and nasal procedures using oral sedation. The in-office procedures result in a faster healing time. Visit us and feel the difference.
Welcome back to Rolling with Madrina. I'm here talking to local superhero John Hodgdon with Heartbeat Safety, and hopefully soon Heartbeat Safety Foundation. Stay tuned on that. But so, John, we just so much talking off camera because you think I would know what to do if my spouse or my child were choking or like any sort of emergency were to happen. But when I really stop and think about it, I might not know what to do.
You might not. No.
So are there just some basics that every human being needs to know? Just a little tool to stick in their pocket of things that you teach?
Sure. I mean, that's a loaded question,
Yeah.
Madrina, because we go through a lot in our classes.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's just go through what you do, how you do it.
Yeah.
What does a typical class look like?
That sounds great. So the way that a typical class looks, typically we're coming into an organization in the morning, either at 8 a.m. or we're coming in around 12:30 p.m.
Half a day, so first start, second half, one or the other.
Yep, and a good time for that is like on a Friday. We go into a lot of organizations on a Friday, so that organization may take a half day. They'll either work in the afternoon or they'll work in the morning, and the other remainder of the day will come in. But we actually come in and we do some great services for you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get an AED if you've got one on site. We're going to pull it out and we're going to show it to your employees. We're going to get them familiar with this tool.
What does AED stand for?
That is a fantastic question. So an AED is an automated external defibrillator. So that's the machine that you see in the movies where maybe a medical professional is rubbing the two paddles together.
Clear!
They stick it on somebody and say
Like
clear.
that?
Correct, yeah. Well, nowadays that whole system fits into a little
Get
box just
out.
like this. And it's also the robot that saves your life. So this thing, if you see one around town, what they do, and we've provided some to Gulf Breeze Sports Association. We've provided some of these to
Wow.
Gulf Breeze Recreation. We recently just provided one to Tri Gulf Coast. We've provided one to Restaurant Iron. So there are a few different places that we're
Wow.
getting these out into the community.
Let me try to stump you. What is the percentage? Like, there's a lot of cops that are cops and never pull their gun. How often are these pulled out? How often do they get used?
Oh man, so they have a little bit of a bigger unit like this in an ambulance. And so anytime somebody's experiencing sudden cardiac arrest, this is pulled out, and this is actually used for a few things. This will remind you to call 911. This will remind you to check their vitals. This will actually analyze their heart rate. To let the machine and yourself know whether it can be shocked.
Yeah.
It'll remind you to do CPR, and this machine here will actually even coach you through CPR.
Wow.
Making sure that your compressions are fast enough, that your compressions are deep enough, and that your CPR is actually effective.
Who needs one of those?
Everybody.
Every business?
Yep, these should be within, this is my mission. So I'm partial, but in all reality, if you're not 90 seconds from one of these, then your chances of survival from a sudden cardiac event are going to be less likely.
So even households?
Even a household.
You should have a fire extinguisher and one of these, essentially.
And they do make, and just to plug Costco will be providing AEDs that you can purchase from them. Right now, you've got to go through a distributor like us. So if you do want one at your house, we literally did, we recently did a training for a woman whose husband was just diagnosed with AFib, and she was very concerned about him. So we actually went to her house, trained her, and then set her up with resources like an AED.
A lot of
to
people
say, hey,
have that.
If you're concerned, we can give you the tools and the training to save a life, even if that is your husband, sister, niece, nephew, or uncle.
Kate, is there one hanging in the kitchen?
We have one in the house, yeah.
In the house. And so this is geared to people who have heart issues, or should you just everyone have one in their repertoire of household tools? Or
so sudden cardiac arrest can happen to anybody, anywhere, and we've seen that recently with folks like Damar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills. Happened on the field on live TV, and this actually is the unit, the same model that was used on him to save his life.
Wow.
We've seen it with LeBron James's son.
Yes.
On the basketball court.
Yes.
So although our thoughts and our tendencies are to think, hey, let's think about older folks, older than 50 maybe. Well, now we've got to we've got to recalibrate. This can happen to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Every school, every gym, every household,
school,
every
gyms,
business.
Airports. You think about a stadium, any place that there are a decent amount of public people at an event, it's very important that we've got one of these on site.
Okay, so half-day training, you come in, you bring the mannequin.
We check out your AED if you've got one. If you don't, we can set you up with one. We are an authorized distributor for those. We pull out your first aid kit too. We're going to make sure that you've got in there the things that we recommend to have, and if not, we're going to set you up with ways to get them.
Yeah.
And then we're
because really, when do people check their first aid kit? Like, it's probably been in there 15 years. The Band-Aids don't even stick. The tape's dry rotted. So that's a good thing to do, to reevaluate and assess their safety kit. Very, very wise.
And now that folks are coming back to the office, and it's more than 50% that we're coming back into the office, it's important that somebody check out that first aid kit, because it may have collected a little dust, and in some instances when we're on site, it may still have the plastic wrap on it. So let's open that sucker up. Let's check it out. Let's make sure that everybody knows what's in here in the event that there is an emergency.
Okay.
So we check out your AED, we check out your first aid kit, and then we sit and we talk about how the EMS system works, right? When is it an actual emergency that dictates we should call 911? We talk about how to do CPR, how to utilize an AED, whether you've got one or not. It's a great skill to have. And then how to take care of somebody with a first aid emergency. And that could be sudden illness. That could be a stroke, seizure, poisoning, anaphylactic shock due to an allergic reaction, and so many more topics.
And your name should be Heartbeat and Life Safety. I mean, because
we can add it in.
You just named all kind of things about life safety. And you're right. I was just, the other day I was out jet skiing and I got bit by a jellyfish. And my husband says, do you have anything for that? I'm like, what do I have? I got sunscreen. You know, there's just some things in life that you mentioned that we could be better prepared for.
And it never hurts to be prepared for this kind of thing. The worst thing in the world is for an emergency to happen in your organization, at your home, at your church, wherever you may be, and not to know where or how to do what you can do.
And feel powerless, and then have regrets later, like I could have done something.
Exactly.
So then the half day, do you do actual training? I don't know why I'm demonstrating the dummy. Like, you do full
We do actual training, yeah. So we bring the mannequins in, we bring trainer AEDs in, we give everybody their own CPR mask that they can take with them afterwards.
Nice.
We have people that put it in their glove box, or maybe they store it under their kitchen counter or something like that.
I saw your company has portable, fold up, travel, mobile mat. Tell about that. You have those. I mean, that's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, so we do like you got. So
I put it on my Sea-Doo. I put it in my Sea-Doo kit.
We provide. We do also have access to other safety and first aid materials as well, and we do sell a really little. It's pocket-sized keychain, CPR mask to take with you in the event that something does happen.
Because that's the other thing. With post-COVID and everything else, everyone's afraid to touch, do anything. So, very cool.
They really
All right.
are.
So then after that, they get a certification, and they're a certified heartbeat establishment?
Yeah, so even better than that. So we're a licensed training provider with the American Red Cross. So your certificate that you receive comes directly from them, and that certificate is good for 2 years. Obviously, you know, skills and knowledge starts to degrade without use.
Right.
So at about the 1 year mark, we do recommend to bring us in, retrain.
You might have new employees.
Exactly.
Like
you might have new employees. You may have moved into a new building. We may want to talk about your emergency action plan and what does happen. Who does call 911 in the event of an emergency?
So much to think about that you are bringing to the forefront of people's, mind to consider.
Yeah.
And so, how does one get lined up for a class?
Great question. So you can either visit our website, www.heartbeatsafety.org. Or you can follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us on
You got all
Heartbeat
the things
Safety there.
under Heartbeat Safety?
Yes, ma'am. Or you can always just send an email, hello@heartbeatsafety.org. If you are going to send us an email or a message, let us know who your organization is, how many folks you have, and some potential dates that work for you, and we'll do our best to work with all
Was
of
that .org?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, .org. Very cool. But I'm really excited about the potential, not the potential, but you're wanting to develop the foundation to push this out even further and to bring your message. And I think as time goes on, you might want to consider applying for an Impact 100 grant and some things like that. What Are there some basic misconceptions that you want to cover today? Some ABCs of whatever it is, if someone's choking, anything that you want to say, Madrina, one of the most common questions I hear is this, and that's a myth. Is there something you want to share with us?
Yeah. So the most basic piece of advice that I can give you or give somebody is, it never hurts to dial 911. If you think that there's an emergency situation taking place and you don't know what to do, 911 is your best resource. When you call 911, you reach a dispatcher who's sitting in front of a computer screen with all of the answers to the questions that you could give them, and they can direct you. They can even direct you through CPR, first aid, and what to do. So in the event that you're worried, you think something's wrong, call 911. And I'm going to dispel one big myth now.
All right.
So one of the biggest barriers between that keeps people from calling 911 is that they're really scared that they're going to get an astronomical bill, right? So I'm scared that, hey, if I call 911, the ambulance shows up, I'm going to have to pay $1 million.
Right.
And that's what everybody thinks is it's $1 million. But I'll let you know that you can call 911, an EMT can show up and they can check you out, and you can still withdraw consent to jump in that ambulance and ride to the ER.
That
so
is
when
solid
in doubt,
information.
An EMT or a paramedic can show up to you, check you out, and at least you know if the situation warrants you jump in that ambulance.
And no cost to the citizen for that? Yeah. That's a nice taxpayer service right there, right? That is solid information.
Yeah. When in doubt, make the call.
That is very good, and because it'll cost you nothing, and time matters.
Time does matter.
In these situations, time is of the essence.
Correct. It really is.
Okay, so we've got a minute and a half. I'm going to let you take us out of here and tell the universe what they need to know, what you need back from them.
Sure. So, like I said, I'm John with Heartbeat Safety. We're your resource for CPR, first aid, and AED training in Escambia County, and also to the east and to the west of us as well.
You go as far as where?
Destin? We'll go as far as Tallahassee. We'll go as far as Biloxi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
We're
Simple
here for
mission.
You. Yeah, get in touch.
For you. So get in touch with them. Find them on Facebook, Instagram. I think this is a wonderful service, even for family. You got large family groups that get together. You have family members that you're caretaking for. You even have small children. There's so many purposes for this information right here. Thank you for coming and sharing your heartbeat safety, your life safety, all of that knowledge that you just dropped on us. I hope you come back again as everything evolves. I hope you guys look them up, get engaged, bring them to your organization, and let's help him get this foundation off the ground to bring heartbeat safety and more to our community. Aloha, and thank you for watching Rolling with Madrina.